turn on the camera on. All right. Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for coming. It is August 26th. This is the Broadwater County Commissioners' business meeting. And before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. Here is a stack of documents that are available, have been available since last week, of everything we will cover in the agenda. They are available for anyone to make any copies that you choose. These meetings are recorded. Any outside conversations or sideline conversations, we'll ask you to please take those into the hall. All comments should be directed to the board chair. And we do have a civility policy. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. First thing on the agenda is public comment on any subject not on the agenda and that the commission has jurisdiction over. Is there any public comment? Tim.
Good morning, Tim with Redoubt News. I've had quite a few people talking about the great move with the podium for citizens and other speakers to be able to speak to the commission in an official capacity. That's awesome. A lot of people are complimenting about that. One of the things that are being suggested to improve that, instead of having it behind the post when they're wanting to see what's going on, if we could find a better location for the podium so that people that are speaking, and I would suggest maybe by that post over there behind Ann, which would be able to be recorded and we can see who's speaking, because that's one of the things that are going on with all the videos. It's hard to tell who's speaking and where they're at. So if we could make that improvement to add to that, it would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. We do have two letters I will read into the record at the request of a couple of citizens. This one is from Joan Potter. Dear Commissioners, once again I come to you with a concern about not getting time on the agenda. Here's my statement. As I just learned in the last meeting, it is unlawful to deny me time. I'm sending this note as a courtesy to the Commission. I have several concerns that I believe to be of interest to the citizens of Broadwater County. One being the lack of transparency with this board. Whenever a citizen speaks at the start of a meeting for public comment, questions are posed and not answered sufficiently. Our feedback is, thank you for your concern, which seems to be the pat statement from the board. Yes, you hear our concerns, but are you really listening? That is why I'd like to be not only heard, but actually listened to within the minutes of the meeting to be put on record. My very first meeting, I asked a lot of questions and understood, as you have informed me, that you three have equal powers and that two of you need to be present in the building to have a quorum to hold a vote for the agenda. That has been violated a few times in the past. My biggest interest is that our constituents are not getting the information that we need to make informed decisions about the budget, our safety, our well-being as good neighbors and fellow keepers of our community. Your job is to gather information from all the services that we rely on, get recommendations from said departments, review, investigate the particulars using all three commissioners' good judgment, and then inform us before you vote. I can tell you right now we are not getting informed about vital services in the time it takes to make a good judgment call on your behalf. That concerns most of the community. We are very upset about some of your departments getting special treatment overall. Our budget is not balanced. Our safety is being compromised. Our concerns are not being listened to, and our well-being as a whole community are not being met. Thank you for your time and your concern. Again, from Joan Potter. And there's a comment on the bottom. It says, it's time you start listening to the people and working with the Sheriff's Office. This next letter is from Karen Cugliolis. She is the jail nurse. Broadwater County Commissioners, I have a problem with your lack of interest for public safety and for your lack of listening to the people that elected you. Are you public servants, not lawmakers? You make decisions without public input. You refuse to work with the detention center union, the detention center officers at the lowest paid in Montana, because you don't think public safety is important. One officer works alone a 12-hour shift caring for 45 to 50 inmates on any given day. They are responsible for keeping the inmates safe, heating and serving meals, cleaning up after the meals, laundry, keeping the cells clean, being sure the inmates do hygiene and having clean clothes, passing meds, including doing blood sugars on diabetics before meals and assisting them with their insulin. They have to be alert for any sick inmates, know how to take care of emergency situations, seizures and diabetic problems. They have to be alert for any disagreements among inmates, breaking up fights. Be sure the inmates get their allowed recreation time, take medical requests for the nurse, and assist with carrying them out. They are responsible for people's lives, all the while keeping the inmates secure. Inmates are people, even though they've made bad choices. They get the best care in Broadwater County Jail. Therefore, the detention officers deserve better and better pay. Also, the dispatch officers most often work alone due to budget cuts. They are responsible for answering all phones, and they may get tied up with a 911 call, which takes priority, so the other phone calls have to wait. What happens if they get 2 911 calls at the same time, or call for an ambulance? Hope is not one of your family county commissioners. By refusing to work with the union is uncalled for. The solid waste mess is another example of you not listening to the people. You just decided what you want to do without consideration of what is best for the people affected by your decisions. Not giving people time to have input. Now it's expensive mess. You hire and overpay someone with little to no experience. You reject someone with experience and take over the roads. It's time you start listening to the people and working with the sheriff's office union and quit disregarding public safety. Does it take something really serious to happen before you regard public safety as important? Karen Fugliolis, jail nurse, exclamation mark. All right.
Madam Chair, can I respond to that, please?
Absolutely.
So this is in response to Joni. And I just want everybody to be clear that we have been trying to communicate with her. And I'm actually going to read my emails to her and her responses, just so everybody knows that we are trying to do that. So the first was a letter that she actually handwritten and delivered to Michelle Beebe to give to the commission. It said, to Chairman Mike Delger, dear Mr. Chairman, I am requesting a 30-minute time slot for me to speak at the July 22nd, 2019 Broadwater County Commissioners meeting and be added to the agenda. She gave her contact information, and that was something that we didn't have before. When she came to the commission meeting and asked for that, we had no way of contacting her. We looked through all of our records, so I'm not sure who reached out to her, but anyway, she got that contact information to us. So once we had that, I responded to her, and that was on July 9th. My response email was July 9th at 2:50 p.m. Joan, I have been asked to send you this information so you can be put on the commissioner's agenda. Attached is the meeting agenda policy, right here. I gave her that. It was adopted in January of this year. I have highlighted in yellow the area of agenda. Please submit your topic and copy of presentation as outlined in the policy to the commission. If you could please let us know you received this email, that would help us to ensure you have been contacted. So the outlined portion in the policy that we adopted is request to be on the agenda shall include the topic and details of the issues to be considered. If the topic is a new item or presentation, a copy of the presentation must be submitted to the commission with the agenda request. So that's what we asked her to do. She sent me a response that day at 3:45. Says, Commissioners, as a citizen of Broadwater County, I'd like to take time to request on your agenda to discuss several points of public interest. Open meeting laws and transparency, documentation discussed are part of the commission meeting records, including Montana law and the Constitution. Accountability regarding the solid waste department process and other departments that are to serve as citizens of the county, to serve the citizens of the county. Documentation discussed is part of the commission meeting records and will include new budget that is currently being adopted for the new fiscal year. I anticipate the discussion and potential interest from the people will need approximately 1/2 on the hour on the agenda. Please schedule time on the agenda at the next available meetings, and I understand I am running behind schedule for this week, so the regular meeting of July 22nd will still accommodate the needs I have on your agenda. Thank you for consideration. Thank you, Joan Potter. So, I followed up, and I asked her, I said, Joan, I'm following up with your request to be put on the agenda. The commission is waiting for your draft of the specific items you want to discuss. Your email was general, but in its content as to what you wanted to discuss. Please let us know what open meeting laws you want to discuss and copies of documents you want to use. Hopefully you will get the answers you're looking for at the solid waste meeting. So I did send her an agenda to the solid waste meeting that was coming up on the 25th, and that she could go there and maybe get some answers from the solid waste folks. If not, let us know what questions you have so we can be prepared to answer them. Let us know what questions you have with the preliminary budget. The final budget will not be adopted until sometime in late August, which requires a hearing and public comment. You mentioned you wanted to talk about other departments that serve the county. Let us know what departments you want to talk about and the items you want to discuss so we can have the department heads present to answer your questions. So, we have been communicating with Joan. We were simply waiting for the items that she wanted to discuss so that we could have the appropriate people who are here to answer those questions. I think that we're in line with what we were asking. So, the offer is still open. If Joan would like to present that information to us so that we can be prepared to have that discussion, we will have those discussions. I just don't want everybody to have the perception that we're not trying to communicate and accommodate the folks that we're serving. And also, as a side note, I did contact Zona Hale, and we weren't able to get together this week because we were both busy doing different things, but at some point we will get together and we'll have the discussions. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. And I think it's appropriate to also answer Karen's letter. We have been working with the union, we have been working with the sheriff's office, and we do have a salary survey for how much people are paid, and we are not at the bottom. So I think emotions definitely play a part, but when it comes to just the facts and figures, we are pretty on par. So with that, we will get into the bulk of our meeting. Next we have the approval of the minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes here: August 12, August 19, and August 21.
I'll move that we accept the minutes, and I can't remember the dates, I'm sorry.
12, 19, and 21.
The stated dates, yeah. August 12th, August 19th, and August 21st.
I will second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the minutes of August 12, August 19, and August 21. All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And these are sent to us via email before, so that we are all aware of what is contained in those minutes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
quick question, just in regards to policy. Does the public have an opportunity to see the minutes prior to final adoption in their draft form?
They're public documents. We don't send them out to everybody, no.
But they are available?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Let's see, one more minute. Commissioner's community update. Daryl, what's been on your agenda?
Oh, gee, I gotta look at my schedule. Last week was an extremely busy week. And, so, indulge me for a moment. Let's see, also, I guess I've spent time with the Billings Clinic folks, listening to their proposal, and we welcomed them into our community. I went to the MBAC meeting, which is over in White Sulphur, and it was a great meeting. Discussed all the ongoing things that are happening with the 3 counties and cities within them that are represented by MBAC. Had a Board of Health meeting. I'm trying to remember what. I don't think there's really anything of major interest that came out of the Board of Health, we just kind of, the usual business that we discussed, had a mosquito board meeting. We discussed possibility of maybe expanding our district upon request of some of the citizens. The new fogger truck has been working wonderfully. They purchased a backpack spare to get into areas that they can't get with the truck. And then we also had a meeting with Harold Blatty. First time I met Harold, he's a very interesting and informative person. And also had an airport board meeting. The only business out there was discussing the building of a new hangar and what has to be done with that individual as far as for getting his paperwork in line, to get approval from the county. LAPC meeting, where we went to the school and toured the school and seen what some of the challenges are over at the school. And also attended the solid waste meeting that Thursday night as well. And we talked about the canisters, proposed new canisters being purchased and what they'd be used for. And I guess that's really pretty much about it.
All right.
Question?
I also attended the, I'll let him ask here in just a minute. I also attended the Board of Health meeting, the mosquito board meeting, and the meeting with Mr. Blatty, who is the past executive director of MACO. We've worked extremely closely with MACO. Every single question we have is taken to MACO. And they give us tremendous guidance. I also attended the MBAC meeting. Darrell and I did not talk about any county business. I went to support the mine, which we are expecting an approval any day now. Attended this silos meeting, attended that with Mike. Also, we did not talk about county business at that meeting. There were a lot of Board of Crime Control meetings in the last couple of weeks. This is our time for approving grants, getting ready for our retreat and our September board meeting coming up in a couple of weeks. There's a number of community meetings, and those are keeping me busy. And also went to the hospital update with the Billings Clinic, and I think that's going to be extremely positive for our community. So, Tim, what's your question?
Just, if we could get just a little clarification on the proposal, if you want to call it that, and sometimes I use the wrong term, the mosquito district expansion, where? And is that going to start the process officially, or is it just a suggestion? Where's that at?
Yeah, it's just a suggestion at this point. The results that come back from the testing show that there's a higher percentage of West Nile carrying type mosquitoes out here to the south, around New York Island. So that is a public health concern. And then the request was for maybe some of the folks at the silos to be included in that district.
Okay.
And no decisions have been made. We're just,
Right.
Just stuff that we're discussing.
A lot of people,
Yeah,
excuse
if
me,
that's something that we want to do. So. Yeah.
a lot of people have been saying, concerned about where the mine is and where the treatment is, and,
Right. Yeah, there's some, if folks are interested in the mosquito in our community, they really need to come to these meetings, because Jessica does a fantastic job, and there's some good information there as far as for what's being done.
thank you,
That's my suggestion.
thank you so much.
Thanks, Darrell. Certificate of survey review. Do we have any certificates of survey?
I do not. I have board appointments,
All right.
which I know is a standing item on your agenda.
Yes. If you don't mind, we do have a public hearing scheduled for 10 o'clock and 10:15, so I'll move into those and then we'll take care of that.
That's just fine.
All right. So we are going to close this public business meeting of the County Commissioners and open a public hearing. This hearing is to adopt a resolution creating an interdisciplinary child information and school safety team. We have a couple of resolutions, and again, they have been available for public review. A resolution ordering the creation of the Broadwater County Interdisciplinary Child Information and School Safety Team. Whereas 522211 states county commissioners shall ensure the formation of an interdisciplinary child information and safety team. Includes representatives authorized by any of the following: Youth Court, County Attorney, Department of Public Health, Human Services, among others. Further directs the team officials may coordinate with officials from other counties to form a region team. Will operate under the further guidance of 52.211, subsections 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The County Superintendent of Schools shall provide to the Office of Public Instruction a copy of any written agreement under this section no later than September 1. Therefore, be it resolved, by order of the Broadwater County Commissioners, they hereby form the County Interdisciplinary Child Information and School Safety Team. Any public comment? Public comment? Public comment. All right, we will close this public hearing and return to our county commission business meeting. And we have a decision on the agenda to adopt a resolution creating the Interdisciplinary Child Information and School Safety Team.
I will move that we adopt the resolution for creation of the Broadwater County Interdisciplinary Child Information and School Safety Team. I know that the team actually has been in place for quite a while, and this is just following the state statute to create that.
And I'll second the motion. It has been moved and seconded to sign a resolution creating the Broadwater County Interdisciplinary Child Information and School Safety Team. Any further comment? All right, all
I have a
those-
comment.
Shirley?
This came up probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, and attached to it were the position and the name associated with that. Why, where did it get lost, and what happened to it? Perhaps if you go back through the minutes, maybe a month ago, we had positions and names announced in the meeting, and at that point in time, it was going to be approved shortly. Where'd it go?
It's
Why
right
are we-
here, Shirley.
Why are we
And-
6 weeks late?
We're not 6 weeks late. Here's your list accompanying this. We are not going to attach names, we're going to attach offices. Your individual people can change. What we are required by law to have are the particular offices. And they're right here, and this has been available for the public to review for the past week. And we just have to follow the process
I
and
agree,
advertise correctly.
I agree, but I think the process got stuck in the mud about 6 weeks ago. If we can go back through the minutes and find out, and at that point in time, there was positions and names associated with them. We were supposed to have that settled within 2 weeks, which was probably a month ago.
Thank you, Shirley.
We're just curious where things might have got lost.
All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And Daryl, when this gets recorded, we will include that on the second page, the resolution number.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Tim?
just to follow up on the public comment just from the beginning this morning, one of the other things that's been asked is when certain citizens are going on the record speaking to the commission or department head, an introduction would be great, because a lot of times it's not known who's even talking. So getting back over to the podium.
Well, that's exactly right, Tim, and that is the process. So I guess if we can start getting ourselves retrained here, folks, if we
Right.
make a comment, let's go to the podium, state, address the commission, state your name, so that Ann can make that. And that's really the proper process that we're supposed to use. So, and that was the reason we got that podium. So, just got to retrain ourselves.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Daryl. We've always had more of a casual atmosphere,
Yeah.
and I think you're absolutely right. I think we need to formalize it, maybe to return to where
Yeah.
we need to be. So thank you for
You
that.
bet. And then, and I guess also I want to add, just as a matter of public interest, and I know that we're all kind of following this. We have been meeting with various vendors on getting our sound system in here, possibly getting a better video system, and also working towards our county website. So we kind of created a small committee amongst ourselves. But if you guys have any input into that, we would appreciate that as well. we are working towards that means. So hopefully we can find something that we can afford.
All right, we are going to close this regular commission business meeting and open a public hearing to adopt a resolution establishing a temporary reduced speed zone on Highway 437 and 6 Mile Road. Resolution, and this has been available for the public, a resolution establishing a temporary reduced speed zone on Highway 437 and 6 Mile Road pursuant to MCA 61-8-309. The commission may set a reasonable and safe special speed limit at that location. It is unposted, therefore reverts to 70 miles per hour. The Public Works Director was requested to lower the speed limit for safety reasons. The request was received for a temporary reduction to the speed limit on Highway 437 and 6 Mile Road to 35 miles per hour. Broadwater County met in regular session today. So now, therefore be it resolved by the Broadwater County Commission of Broadwater County, Montana, that County Road Department staff erect and the required signage for the temporary speed zone. That will be 35 miles per hour on State Highway 437 and 6 Mile Road. Now, is there any public comment? Tim, I will ask you to introduce yourself formally and step to the podium, please. We are starting now. And I'd
Right
like
on.
the first and last name, please.
Absolutely. Tim Robinville, Readout News. Real quick question. I'm going to just ask straight out. Did the Department of Highway hold any hearing, because it is a state highway, on this request? Number two, follow-up question on that. How long is this temporary zone on Highway 437?
Thank you, Tim. I understand the road is actually under county authority. Mary, can you tell us how long this is intended, or does it just depend on
It
harvest?
depends on harvest.
Thank you.
So the reason is for
Harvest.
farmer harvesting program?
We have
No.
agricultural trucks that typically haul heavy and drive fast.
Maybe I could get out of the way.
And they tear up the road. We're talking about the gravel portion of 437, not the asphalt.
Okay.
And it also states in the resolution that this is for safety reasons.
Right, understood.
Good.
Just wondering if the Department of Transportation weighed in on that.
This is actually under county authority, so thank you for
Understand
that.
that. Just wondering if the Department of Transportation weighed in on it.
Have they,
No.
no,
No,
is
thank
it
you.
incorrect that this is not a county,
No, you're
road under
correct.
county authority?
You're correct,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Any other public comment? Public comment? Public comment. Okay. We will close this public hearing and return to the regularly scheduled Broadwater Commissioners' business meeting. And we have a decision on the agenda to adopt a resolution establishing a temporary reduced speed zone on Highway 437 and 6 Mile Road.
Mary, wanna go ahead and step up to the podium there? I'm gonna ask a question.
You bet.
So, the code that you said you were gonna use was 61-8-309, correct? According to the
Yes.
resolution? And that code says that if the commission determines upon the basis of engineering and traffic investigation that a speed limit set by 61-8-303, which is the one that sets our state speed limits, be greater or reasonable than is safe under the conditions found to exist at an intersection, curve, dangerous location, or segment on the highway. And it goes into, a lot of different things, but the important part of that is upon the basis of engineering and traffic investigation. Has there been a speed study done on this
No,
for determining this?
not to my knowledge,
Okay.
Carol. I don't know if something like that had been done in the past.
That's a requirement of this code.
Okay,
And it's based on the 85th percentile of the average traffic speed is how you're gonna set that.
okay.
but it does say that the local authority may request a temporary, special, reduced, or increased speed zone for a route or segment under consideration for a reduced or increased speed limit under these subsections. So, my question was, going back to what Tim asked, how long will this be in effect?
As long as we are, you know, I suspect 6 weeks or so. And this is a temporary special adjustment. We are not making a permanent adjustment to the speed limit. So my interpretation of that code was if we're gonna make a permanent adjustment, that's when we need the traffic study.
So I guess that's what I'm still looking for is a time frame. 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
Is that what it's gonna be?
Daryl, honestly, I don't know how long it takes them to do what they do. They're gonna be hauling the corn silage, the silage in and out. And I apologize in advance for that. So I was asked to do that, and it's one thing that I missed doing last year. We already have some damage to 437 because of products that have been being hauled in the last couple of weeks. And I'm concerned about continued damage.
Nicole, would you go grab Title 61 for me, please? Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Not yet, Shirley. Thank you very much. Okay, so if you read the same statute, 61-8-309, establishment of special speed zones, engineering and traffic investigation, subsection 1D. A local authority may request a temporary special reduced or increased speed zone for a route or route segment that is under consideration for a reduced or increased speed limit under subsections 1A, B, or C. If the local authority makes multiple requests for temporary, special, reduced, or increased speed zones, they shall prioritize the requests. So we have two that we're prioritizing in parallel to each other. So because this is for safety purposes to do with harvest, it does appear we do have the authority to impose a special speed zone. What we could do, if you want, Daryl, is set a time frame of 2 months to be revisited prior to the end of that 2 months if harvest is not done, to extend through the end of harvest. We've had trucks turned over in the past, and we've had near misses with cars. So I do think that we have to consider the safety side of this.
Yes,
So,
and I agree, and that was the statute that I read. That you have temporary authority to do that, that's why I want the time limit. So if we set it at 2 months, I think that that's probably adequate to do that. But if we go outside of that, then we're not following the guidelines of the statute.
Sure.
Okay? I just wanted to make sure that we're doing it for the right reasons and doing it the right way.
Yes.
so I would suggest that your motion maybe say 2 months to be revisited at the end of that 2 months, so that we can be flexible yet still provide a time frame.
Right.
If that works for you.
It does, and I'm also gonna give you some information, Mary, it's Title VI from the Transportation Code, subtitle County Roads and Bridges, and that will give you some more information that you can follow up with later
All right,
on.
you bet, thank you.
All right, I will move that we adopt the resolution establishing the temporary reduced speed zone, Highway 437 and 6 Mile Road for a 2-month period for the safety during harvest.
And I will second that with a friendly amendment that we can revisit that at 2 months depending on harvest and safety issues. So it has been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution establishing a temporary reduced speed zone on Highway 437 and 6 Mile Road for a period of 2 months to be revisited pending harvest and safety. Public discussion. Shirley, what would you like to say? And please state your full
Shirley
first name and
Wilson.
last name.
I have a question. Are these the only 2 roads in the county where people carry harvested goods? And is that going to be a speed limit on all of them? And why now? There are speed limits on county roads that harvested products come over. Why is this an issue now?
Well, I think the way the state statute reads that the speed limit on that road could be 70 miles an hour.
What happened with safe and prudent,
And,
not standing at the podium?
And I will ask you to do that if you would like.
What happened to safe and prudent with a loaded grain truck? Does it have to be posted? And since our public safety people are minimized, who's gonna patrol it? You gonna put a chopper in the air, or what are we gonna do? They're busy enough as it is. How are they gonna patrol county roads with harvest in full swing? Just a question.
Thank you, Shirley. Any other public comment? All right, I will call for the question.
do you have a comment?
Question.
Go ahead, Tim.
One last question. Has, under practice, has the county attorney reviewed this?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
If I can, I'm sorry, if I can speak to a couple of these issues. These are temporary speed limits that we've had for a number of years in place. I didn't do it last year because of everything that was going on. This is not unusual to do. We do have some county roads that do have posted speed limits. These two do not, and we have had issues on these roads the last several years. Last year we had someone unfamiliar, he was running a harvest truck, someone unfamiliar with the road went off the road. I don't believe he was injured, but did some damage to that vehicle. So this is something I'm just I'm just moving forward with, Dana had done this in the past. And I was asked to go ahead and get this in place because if it's not posted, the speed limit is 70 miles an hour. And that's a serious concern because we do have public traffic on those roads as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. So, yeah, 70 miles an hour with a loaded grain truck and passenger vehicles, it's not a good mix. So this is a safety issue. We have three different pillars commissioners do. One is public safety, one is public health, and the other is the prosperity of our community. So this falls under one of the pillars that is our charge by law. The other thing is we haven't minimized the sheriff's office. I absolutely appreciate that they don't have as much money as they would like, but they did get an increase this year. And we did pass the collective bargaining agreement a couple weeks ago, so the deputies are also now getting a bit of a stipend. Not a stipend, a differential, shift differential. So this is gonna take teamwork, it's gonna take everybody working together. Like Mary said, this is not the first time, this is not unique. And if there are other roads that need it, we will take care of those. This resolution is simply for 437 and 6 Mile. So all those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Ann. All right, we are running a little bit behind schedule, but we do have the County Health Insurance Committee, continue employer contribution to health insurance premium. I'm gonna guess those of you in the back row, and Nicole, I think you're on that committee. No, you're not. Just Teresa and Doug, are you two on that committee?
No.
I'm not.
All right. I think Debbie heads it up.
Melissa is on it, if you'd like me to run up and get her.
Well, if it's good with you, Daryl, what I would suggest is, we work with the folks that are here and then come back to that. Our agenda does say that. Times are subject to change. Mail items, issues and times are subject to change. I guess that's all it says. Is that good with you, or would you like us to?
We just kind of move on to,
I would move on to, because it's not yet 10:45, Nicole, for the board appointments, and then Doug, and then come back to the health insurance.
okay.
So that we don't have people wasting their time from their offices. All right. Nicole, board appointments, this is part of our consent agenda, this is management and ministerial.
Indeed. I have two board appointments. These are recommended by these respective boards. Stacy Summer for the Parks and Rec Board. And Tom Hay for the Mosquito Board.
He's been, they've both been excellent board members. Any motion, Daryl, or discussion at this point? Yeah, absolutely. So Stacy would be for recreation. We generally do the first year at 1 year, or the first time they're on board 1 year, and then from there, stagger 2 to 3.
And to clarify on that, if I can interject, Stacy's is to replace my position on the rec board, as it was discovered that as a county employee, I could not volunteer on a county board. So there was a vacancy. So she is simply filling out my term.
Isn't Stacy, she's also on our mosquito board, right?
Stacy is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have we, do we need to, make that appointment as well?
I did not know that she was serving on the mosquito board, so I guess I'll have to look into that. Okay.
We can make that motion, and then just have you type up a letter and sign that
Certainly.
for her.
Stacy Summer to the mosquito board. Stacy to, let's see. They're gonna be one-year terms, right, the first year?
Mm-hmm.
So Tom and Stacy to serve one-year terms. And then also we will appoint Stacy Summer to serve on the recreation board. And she's filling a vacancy for 2 years.
I will second those motions. It's been moved and seconded to appoint Tom Hay and Stacy Summer, each to the mosquito board for an initial 1 year, and Stacy Summer to the recreation board to fill a vacated position for the remaining 2 years. Any public comment? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Oh, no, I'm happy with that, take it. Thank you. That was a big one. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, thanks, Nicole.
Thank you. Laura, I have a question about that.
Oh, I guess I do too.
Sorry.
Debbie Randolph. So the board appointments go under management.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be helpful if you listed that? Under management, you have gas tax, ambulance, district.
So there's 3 reasons. We could if you like, but it's not required by law. A ministerial act is a management act.
So
So
in any week,
everything-
this could happen.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So we'll need that letter though for Stacy appointment.
Correct, and is it appropriate if I type it now and just leave it on your desk to sign, since you made the motion here, you can sign it at any time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I anticipated. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Doug Ellis, clerk, recorder, treasurer, elections, and superintendent of schools. Market adjustment for assistant clerk and recorder employee.
I just recently had an employee terminate his employment and go to the Department of Revenue for $1.31 pay increase. I'd like to put Bev right now in for a 75-cent increase. And my total budget with Chase leaving and having this 75 cents to her would actually decrease my budget by $6 or $637. It's not gonna affect my budget. I can afford it, and Bev is one of the best employees I have. She steps up every time I need something. And with Chase gone, she's gonna be taking up a lot of his duties. And I would just like to reward her for her hard work.
So Daryl, to bring you up to speed, thanks Doug. We have 3 requirements in order to give a market adjustment. 1, that it be brought to us by the department head, which Doug has done. 2, that it be affordable in the budget. A $637 increase, or decrease, certainly makes that affordable. And 3, that it be justified within the salary matrix that we have. This particular position would go from 77 to 84% of median to 81 to 88, so it's still well below median. I agree with Doug's sentiment about Bev. Her customer service is bar none some of the best we have in the county, but that can't be a reason that we would give a market adjustment. It has to be the other 3 reasons, and we aren't necessarily giving it to an individual, we're giving it to this position. So that would be our decision, is to increase this position to, by 75 cents per hour.
Right, and it stays within the same band, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it doesn't trigger the Me Too clause.
Pardon me.
It
It
stays, it stays within the same band, doesn't trigger the Me Too clause. And I understand that you can have vacancy savings and also new hire savings when you do fill that other position, so
Right.
it is gonna be well within your budget. I know that Debbie's looked at this and reviewed it, and she also agrees that it's within your budget.
Yeah, she is the one that actually sent me the savings that it would be, to my fact that she worked that out.
Okay, I don't have any other questions. Anything else?
Motion? Would you
Yeah.
like to make a
I'll
motion?
make a motion. I will make a motion that we do a market adjustment for Bill Wrightmore in the amount of 75 cents per hour.
I will second that motion with a friendly amendment that it be for the assistant clerk and recorder
Okay.
position.
Okay?
So it's been moved and seconded to approve a market adjustment of 75 cents per hour for the clerk and recorder assistant clerk position. Any public comment? Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda, County Health Insurance Committee. Welcome, ladies. Continue employer contribution to health insurance premium. If you would stand up, both of you at the podium, and then present your desires.
Debbie's got all the papers. Sorry, throw me under the bus. We usually get our requests from the trust to raise our premiums like the last 2/3 of the prior fiscal year. And that comes usually in March and April, effective when April hours worked. And the insurance committee had asked for the $26 increase to be carried by the county commission until such time we had our new budgets and valuations received. So now we're here, we've got our valuations and our budgets to ask that that continue on. I'm working with the budget and the valuations. There is enough reserves to cover it. The numbers already have budgeted that amount. I kind of forgot about it, running it with no county contribution. So we're asking that the employees still pay the $190 a month, and the county commission pick up the rest up to the $1332 cost. Yes, yes.
What is the total for employee contribution that the county's making?
The difference between, oh goodness, $1,116 is what the county pays. Of the total $1332. Community kind of feels that giving us a raise will offset the cost of the insurance premium if you don't continue to cover it. Therefore, it's kind of like the raise will kind of be spent and
All right, I guess that's my thoughts, and we've recently approved, or haven't yet, but our final budget will be the COLA increase. If we don't pick this up, it pretty much
yep.
washes that out.
It washes it out.
And I don't see any benefit for our employees if we don't do something like that, so I'm in agreement that we do that.
The last couple of years, we've gone without the COLA and paid for the increases, so
Yeah.
we're kind of, this year, we were kind of hoping.
We need the morale boost.
Yes.
I guess I'll move that the county continue to pay our contribution to the health insurance premium.
I will second the motion. It has been moved and seconded that the county continue to pay the premium as we are for the health insurance for employees. Any discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for your good work. all of you, even you two ladies in the back. All right, next it is a little after 10:45, accept fiscal year 20 school budget report. So I have the originals here. There was a copy made for anyone who wanted to review that. And we will approve today so that Debbie can put this into the budget. I hope we'll approve today.
That's a pretty big document.
Yeah.
That's not something you can just read in an hour.
No.
But they've done a great job. I don't see anything there that stands out. I talked with both Debbie and Doug on that. They agree with the amounts that are in there for their budget. So. That's all I have for discussion.
All right. Yeah, if this is more of a housekeeping issue, we would, I think, be overstepping if we were to tell the school, change this or change that. This is theirs and they have laws that they follow and
Yeah.
they answer to OPI. So, yeah, I don't have any either.
So I guess I will move that we accept the fiscal year 2020 school budget.
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the school's budget as presented. Any questions? Tim?
Tim, we read out news. Just a quick question, could you possibly, a lot of people don't make the school board meetings either, so we're kind of curious, do you have a summary of that budget?
No.
Not the whole thing, just dollars that they're looking at?
I would not venture into that. I will leave the copy in the clerk and recorder's office. Anybody may come and take a look on their own. This is not an area of expertise for either of us.
Okay.
And we should not be stepping into the shoes of our school board, because we'd be overstepping. We'd be in their lane, and that would be inappropriate. So we will put the copy back in the clerk and recorder's office for anybody who would like to come and take a look, and you may certainly have copies made if you'd like to take it home for some
Thank you.
3 a.m. reading. Any other questions, comments? All right. So all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Doug, if I missed any signatures, would you let me know after the meeting?
All right.
I think I got them all. It looks like they just need your signature from here on out. But that's not to say I couldn't have missed some. So, thank you. All right, we are motoring along. Last agenda item of the day at 11 o'clock, and we're right on time, is adopt the weed board bylaws. Jessica, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
So, a quick question for you, Jessica, and Daryl as well. If you look on page 5, section, let's see. It would be Article 6, Section 9, Agenda. The MOU that we have with the weed board states that the chair will adopt or draft the agenda and then work with the coordinator. And that was actually a request put to the weed board as well as the commission by Mark Lincoln when he was our coordinator. So we drafted an MOU, memorandum of understanding with that board, with that language in it. I'm wondering, this is something, I think John is working his farm more than he is on a computer. He would probably agree with that. So, I wonder if we can offer maybe other language and then work out how to come up with a system. So I'm suggesting removing the weed coordinator will draft an agenda and solicit items for the agenda from the chair. Strike that and put in instead, an agenda shall be drafted. And then go back to the language as it's already there. The chair will make revisions and approve the agenda for distribution to the board. That way we can work out with the MOU how to have maybe an agenda that's a skeleton. That we add flavor to each month, but there's a standing agenda with all the pertinent items that need to be covered month by month. For example, approving minutes, the budget review, also contract reviews, subdivision reviews, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can just plug in the names as we need to. What do you guys think?
Well, I guess what I'd like to see out there is who is gonna be responsible for drafting that agenda. You know, we just say an agenda will be drafted, we're not designating who's gonna do that draft.
Yeah,
I think it falls under the responsibility of the weed board. I mean, I don't see it, nobody creates our agenda, we're responsible for that.
The board feels like because I see the daily things, that it's my purview to draft the agenda. But I know with the MOU, we've been bouncing back and forth about how to accomplish that and still follow that MOU. Because they feel like I see what we need to be addressing, and then they can comment on it from there.
Well, how do you feel about that? Do you want to be responsible for drafting their agenda?
I don't have strong feelings one way or the other, I just want an answer that will, I think the board is ready to, I guess, die by the sword on this line. They really don't wanna draft the agenda. They don't feel like that is their, part of their duties.
How about, a template agenda shall be provided and the chair will make revisions? Would that work as a compromise?
We've basically been operating under that anyway. I have a,
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you would offer items that they need to discuss. Is that kind of what you're thinking, Laura?
Yeah.
Since Jessica sees that stuff,
I have, the agenda basically goes out every month with the same ongoing items. And then they suggest what they wanna see in the new business.
okay, that would work. I think that would work.
We could return this to them with that suggested language, get their approval, and then after they meet again, we can adopt.
Yeah.
And
If
I can
that's
submit at that
revelation.
time what we've been using as our template agenda, so you guys can look at what we're addressing.
Sure, that'd be fine.
And that works for you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
How about Article 5, Section 4 of the Secretary? It says the board may elect a secretary who shall provide the agenda and keep the minutes. Who's doing that presently? Didn't they appoint somebody? to
They
do
did
that?
not appoint a secretary.
Okay, so
Yeah.
who keeps their minutes?
Me,
Doesn't really fall within your
no.
scope of work.
And it does pose a challenge
Sure.
as I'm the main presenter.
Well, I think that the board needs to appoint somebody to keep their minutes.
Which one is that again, Daryl?
Article 5, Section 4, under Secretary.
So you're suggesting we change may to shall?
Mhm.
Oops. Wasn't that funny? I'd be good with that. I think, one, Jessica, you're paid too much to be the secretary for this board. Two, every other board, almost every other board, I can think of maybe, one exception, has a board member act as secretary, and I think that's appropriate. And so I'd be good with that.
I know there was a suggestion at one time that they would maybe use somebody from 4-H or FFA that would be interested in following, you know,
Yeah,
these type of things.
that was basically poo-pooed by the board members. They feel that there won't be enough interest from the kids to do it. Their position is that they would like to hire a secretary for the board. That they used to have a position that was paid to do that, and why shouldn't they do that again?
She didn't state her name, she stood
I still think they need to elect their own secretary to keep their minutes. That's my feel.
I'm gonna stand with Daryl.
Okay.
Yeah. So, how about this? We will send this back to you,
Mhm.
and then you can forward it on.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So I'll make the changes and highlight them in yellow so that they are visible.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, mail. We have payroll in the amount of $199,025.58.
I'll move that we pay the payroll claim set out.
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to pay payroll in the amount of $199,025.58. All those, any comments, discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. We also have a ongoing MOU from the Montana Stock Growers Association. And per our agreement, we agree to allocate $8,680 for the protection of cattle from destructive animals. This was in our mail.
Yeah, I'll move that we sign the memorandum of understanding for $8,680 to the Wildlife Services Program on livestock.
I will second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to sign the MOU with the Montana Stock Growers Association Predator Control Fund in the amount of $8,680. Any discussion, questions? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. And we have the same thing, only a little bit different. The Montana Wool Growers Association, this is also ongoing. This is an MOU. Broadwater County agrees to allocate $1,010 for the protection of sheep from destructive animals.
Well, then I'll move that we allocate $1,010 to the Montana Wool Growers Association.
Let's second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to sign the MOU allocating $1,010 with the Montana Wool Growers Association Predator Control Fund. Questions, comments? Tim?
Tim with Redoubt News. Just wanted, I guess this is more of a statement of experience here in Broadwater County, for you folks to make sure you consider as you move forward with these. A lot of times what we see happening is when you have depredation of any livestock, who is the first one that usually gets called? It's Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks. And they then play phone tag with the Department of Wildlife Services, which is federal, and that information really has been lacking in getting out to the people. I personally have tried to make sure that we've covered that. You folks are aware of some of that, but it's something that can be helped to get that on the front page of where people need to go. Because a lot of times you have no idea other than call the sheriff or you know, another branch which doesn't have the authority to deal with those. So, thank you.
Any other comments? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And we have already approved claims and a list of those approved claims in the amount of $57,585.04. So this motion needs to be to pay the approved claims.
I don't
Oh.
know, yeah,
Sorry.
I will move that we pay the approved claims in the amount of $57,585.40.
I will second the motion. It has been moved and seconded to pay the approved claims in the amount of $57,585.40. Any comment? Questions? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Give that back to you. Right, and that is it for our items for signature. Also to document mail, we do have results from the chemical analysis done at the Silos Recreation Area, and the water is completely absent of any microbiology, total chloroform or E. coli. And we have two different reports on that. We also have a letter from the Montana Board of Investments that they have changed our bank name from State Bank of Townsend to Opportunity Bank of Montana. And that is it. I think we're done with our agenda. Daryl, do you have anything else to add?
Have you not?
All right, any final discussion? Deb, will you please
Mike
step to the
Delger,
podium?
I'm sorry. Mike Delger and I were working on the trust form to be on the agenda for next week.
Okay,
So I just didn't know if that got to you guys. It's for September 3rd, Tuesday, to present a grant that was approved by the trust board.
okay.
And you'll have a letter and the grant applications Wednesday.
Okay, what's the grant for then?
The silos recreation,
Okay.
the master plan. So I just didn't know if Delger got that information to you.
He did,
Mike
thank you.
Delger.
Commissioner Delger.
Commissioner, chairperson. Thank you.
All right, any further comment? Last chance, going, gone. It is 11:14 and we stand adjourned.